Now I'm kind of questioning this. Yeah, yeah, a scam. Oh, oh, even I took the brunt force of that one. Hello, fellow anime geeks. Welcome to another first impression video in this fall 2020 series of mine where I try every anime series premiere that I can get my hands on to hopefully give you guys a bit more information on this ongoing season. As usual, I'll be organizing my thoughts by answering these 4 questions, and today I'm super excited to talk about Tonikaku Kawaii, or Tonikawa for short. The mouth tags are comedy, romance, and shonen, and I would wholeheartedly agree and say that this is a romantic comedy. It had me non-stop rolling in laughter, and I loved that the humor was wholesome. Some of y'all may know how I feel about lewdness. So this is an innocent romance despite our 2 protagonists living together and despite the majority of the 3rd episode taking place in a bathhouse. The fact that it's able to maintain this sweet, innocent, romantic vibe while our characters are placed in some pretty ridiculous circumstances kind of reminds me of Mikakunin, although that was less laugh out loud, more kind of calm slice of life. I'm also not too sure if Tonikawa is going to have a supernatural component. I was sure in the first episode that it was going to be supernatural because of what happened when they met, and also because of the mood that the art was creating at that moment, but ever since then everything's been pretty normal, despite the fact that this girl is pretty mysterious. Well, and also, if you haven't guessed it by the poster already, despite the fact that they're freaking married. I don't want to spoil too much about the circumstances that lead to them actually getting married, because there's some awesome comedic timing in this, but I can tell you that the way that they wrote these characters, the plotline seems both outrageous but like plausible at the same time. First episode, our protagonist sees her across the street and he decides that he just needs to talk to her because Tonikaku Kawaii!
Tonikaku Kawaii! Tonikaku Kawaii desu! Tonikaku Kawaii!
Episode 2, she moves in. Episode 3, we are able to get a bit more of a daily routine kind of feeling. We meet more people. It does get a bit more harem-y slice of life, but we also get a good more history on our protagonist. And I really appreciate that back in episode 1, they really took the time to introduce him to us and really get us to like the character whose headspace we're going to be occupying for the rest of the show. And he's hilarious. I really like his reactions. I like his fight, his courage, and I really like his little fantasies. We don't really know anything about our female protagonist yet, but I do trust in the pacing and the development of this plotline in this anime. They're doing a pretty good job. Also, there's already been a hint at some possible conflict with her family. This premise isn't all that original. I mean, take your pick of any rom-com where our protagonists end up living together. But the way that we enter into that premise is pretty original. Our protagonist's actions, his personality, the plot development, how we create this situation, and the characters are genuinely likable. I really like being in our protagonist's internal monologue. I feel like he's kind, yet extreme in some ways, and like I mentioned, completely hilarious. So obviously I feel like the comedy in this is really good. But my favorite unique element in Tonikawa, other than the plot, has to be that awesome intro song. I loved that they used the sound of water dripping as instrumentation, and I'm sure that it's going to have some sort of story significance, but also a change in tempo gets me every time. So is it worthwhile? Well, for me that's a big yes, but I also understand that I have a very special place in my heart for innocent romance. So if you're not super into rom-coms usually, or lighthearted, innocent things with not a lot or close to none of fan service, and if you just don't like having the nice guy perspective, then this might not be the one for you, but it is very much for me. And on that note, Tonikaku Kawaii!